That's the fam. Oh, Jay, coming in, testing sound. Okay, guys, what's happening? So again, Bitcoin breaks above 100,000 on a bounce. We had another bounce at 91,000. And one thing that's important I want to speak about today is look at the volume spikes. Look at every time we get down to these low levels. Look at the buying power that is actually happening. You're seeing these massive buying spikes all here at 91,000. It's quite ironic that every time we get to 91,000, the sentiment's quite bad. Okay, and it's quite crazy. I looked at the fear and greed now. We're back in the greed. From yesterday being fearful, back in the greed. But what's also important here, guys, is looking at the weekly charts. I was having a look at this morning, and I want to speak about a lot of the show now about this bounce. Is the bounce real? Right? We are 8 hours away from this man talking. Right? We're going to talk a little bit of crypto. Right? This is Donald Trump's right-hand man when it comes to the digital space. And we have David Sacks speaking about crypto later on today in about 8 hours from now. And this can be a very big catalyst. But the big thing yesterday was to understand it was the biggest liquidation event that happened. Right? But going through these charts here, look at the pin bars that are being formed on the weekly. Look how fast price got dropped to the downside, and look how it is currently getting bought up on the weekly charts. And if you go down over here, you could see that there are pin bars, pin bars, pin bars. But what's even more insane, guys, is look how there's not much volume backing it. Right? This is crazy. It's crazy to see that these drops here, okay, not much volume was backing it. And again, look how volume is getting crunched up over here for a volume spike. So now again, going back here to the total 3, and I showed this to you guys yesterday, and I want to show you this again before we start off the show, okay, is to understand that before the altcoins had this pump, where it literally nearly tripled in size in market cap, it had a 30% correction, 37% correction, and it actually had a liquidation event that ended it, right? We had that big day, we had 35% collapse on altcoins in a very short period of time. The same thing happened in this time of year in August, and that resulted in the market waking up. But the important thing that happened was the alts were not getting anywhere. Very similar to where we've been. We were not getting anywhere, but this last dump, where the altcoins dropped that massive percentage, and I'll show you this over here, how much they dropped. They dropped 27% on the total 3 in 2 days. Okay, it actually brought in this buying power volume that actually sent the altcoins up to the upside. So again, the big question here was, it's very clear manipulation's been quite crazy. But was this the final flush out on altcoins to start sending the market up? The fact that Bitcoin broke back to $102,000 yesterday, and the bounce was very clear that it was a strong bounce, and we were getting a pin bar candle. We are getting to a point now where is this going to be an end, right? We are getting to this 24 hours now, because if this market starts squeezing up, what dump? The dump's going to happen and be gone. Okay, and again, leverage positions got smashed, and I cried about it yesterday. It was tough. Okay, but long-term bags, I cannot lose conviction. So today, again, I'm here to show you what I'm looking at next. The next 24-hour move. We got some good news, or a good conference coming up later today. It's going to bring out volatility in the markets, and we may be damn surprised if Bitcoin's back at $106,000, $108,000 in the next 2 days. The dump will be done, and it's time to put your damn hats back on, and it's time to go up again. So no more wasting time. Let's have a good show. Let's go.
I try and help everyone in my space, and this is what I get. I try and fight the devils, but inside I'm just like sniper. Welcome to Sheldon Show.
So fam, Grand Channel, hit the subscribe button. Guys, I spoke to you yesterday. I said you're allowed to cry. Who went home and ate ice cream? Okay? Who ate ice cream last night? Who cried in bed? Who did it? Tell me. Yes, in the chat. I want to see. Hit the like button. I want to see the likes fly up. Who cried yesterday? And yes, I know I'm talking like those cheap lolly ice cream. We didn't have enough money to buy nice ice cream, but we had ice cream and we cried in bed, right? So we cried in bed. We had our cappuccino, actually our black coffee. We couldn't afford milk yesterday. It was one of those times, right? But who cried yesterday? Who was like, that was just like devastating, right? I did. I was like, all hard work for months, okay, got hit very quickly, okay? So who felt it yesterday? Very important. Now, who woke up this morning? You're worth what you're worth. Your account is where it's at. The past is the past. You're smarter now. You have conviction. Who's getting up today and fighting this damn war with me? Who's going to make this one of the best stories of their life, that before they became a millionaire, they nearly lost everything? Who's going to be one of those that are going to write a book one day, or to inspire those around in their families that they nearly got wiped out. They cried in bed. They were depressed, but they turned it around and they dominated and they became damn millionaires. Who? I want to see. Smash a like up. Because again, today we start again. Yesterday we were allowed to cry. Today we don't cry. Today we get ready for when are we breaking out? What are we getting into? How are we making the money back? And how are we going to continue our journey to becoming multi-millionaires, right? And to become great people, smarter people, and that positive people. You get through this, you get through anything. Okay, and again, the hardest points in your life, it gives you two decisions. It gives you a point to quit and to feel sorry for yourself, or it gives you a time to pivot your damn life and make something great. Okay, I choose to make something great today. Can I have the likes fly through the roof? Now, let's start off with the show, right? The first thing I want to start off with is I spoke to you guys about Bitfunded, right? I have a cool giveaway for you guys. Remember I said that you're going to come trade with me in Dubai? I'm going to start the show off and give it away straight away, right? Let's go in here. Where is it, Maddie? Here. Here are the 5 winners that will join me in Dubai. Okay, we'll be launching the dates and letting you know the dates. We got a South African. So Arthur, well done. You are meeting me in Dubai, sir. Fully paid trip for you. Okay, we got Nawaf, if I'm saying it right. You are meeting me. Valentina, Kyle, Michael. Here we go. No, not you, Michael. Other Michael. Not you, sir. But maybe I'll take. Let's see how you. Kyle, maybe. Okay, guys, let's go. You get to join me to Dubai. You get to come have a full trip with me, and we're going to trade together and have a great time. So shout out to you guys. Lots of love to you all, and well done. Let's make today a great one. Plus, I will give away a ton of Bitfunded today, and I'll give away some Sniper Club today because it's that time of day, right? Let's turn crap around. Let's get our hopes up high, and let's go. So like the video up, and then we get going. Okay, so today we start fresh. We start fresh. We are worth what we're worth, right? So the first thing I want to show you guys over here, let's quickly look at high time frame. Actually not a bad candle on Bitcoin when it comes to weekly, right? Weekly time frame, actually not bad. So if you look at this over here, pin bar candle, we saw price drop. Weekly opened at 97,000. We dropped down to 91,000, and now we are back at 98,000. So basically, all the damage from yesterday on Bitcoin itself is done, right? Now, altcoins are still slightly lagging behind. And we'll speak about it in a sec. We know how it works. We know altcoins are 2-3 days behind Bitcoin, right? It's very clear. We've seen this multiple times. As long as Big Daddy altcoin and the main currency of crypto is healthy, okay, the altcoins will always have their time and they'll catch up at any point, right? So they're slightly behind, but we know what comes next. Okay, but nonetheless, we need to make sure that this fear that came into the market, that these dumps happened, didn't break things on a high time frame. And that's the important thing to understand. And I was looking at this over here. And you pop in this trend here, okay? It was very important that we didn't start breaking this trend. Very important, because if we started breaking this trend, then it opens up doors to Bitcoin going to these areas over here, which is the $70,000 to the $80,000 range, right? That would be quite interesting. If the altcoins did what they did yesterday, and then we have Bitcoin go down to those areas, it will be very interesting, and then we'd have a lot to worry about, okay? But the important thing was to not get flushed out, to know that this was the highest leverage liquidation event that we have had in all time. You know, me and Kyle were speaking about it yesterday. They said 2 billion. We think it's a lot more. Okay, we think 10, 20, like we think 10, 12 billion was wiped out. I think on Bybit alone, what do you say, Kyle, was around 2 billion. Okay, so we think it was way, way, way bigger, you know, when it came to the altcoins of how much leverage was actually wiped out. Now, it's quite crazy that the times where leverage gets wiped out on altcoin specific, right? This was the time it was a big turnaround for alts. Because what it basically does is it chops you up for multiple weeks, okay, and it gets quite hard to stay within the game, okay, and then you get a little bit of that hope, and then you get smashed, you get a little bit of hope, you get smashed, and then after a long period of time, you just get a smash, right? And let's not deny, yesterday was a nasty candle. It was ugly, right? Any liquidation or any leverage positions you had, you probably got wiped out very quickly, including myself. Again, over 7 figures gone, right? And I cried about it, okay, but it's okay, because now I want 8 figures. Now on 8 figures on the next one, okay? That's my goal. So again, I'm using to step up. But the main thing here was not to break big trends, okay? And we didn't. So far as things stand, actually a very good candle that's happening on Bitcoin itself. Now, the next important thing to also see here is obviously the altcoins, right? The altcoins were a big one to pay attention to and to see what basically happened. And this is what happened. Now, again, they were the ones that got brutally hit, okay? And this candle's reminding me very similar to this candle over here. This was that day where we had that big shakeout on altcoins over here, okay? And it actually resulted in the market start making its way up again. But again, when we had that shakeout, Bitcoin actually started launching a little bit earlier. Later on, the altcoins joined the party. Okay, but that ended up being the bottom. And I remember at that time, this was also one of the biggest liquidation events that happened on altcoins at that point. So what you get is you get these flush outs that happen. Okay, but what this has done, let's look, today we are looking at the positives. We're not here for the negatives and that crap, right? We're looking at the positives. And the positive here is because of this pullback on the altcoins here, it's actually now started to send the altcoins down into this oversold territory, which is below this 30% mark on the stochastic RSI, right? And we now know that this is obviously the best time to accumulate altcoins in the high time frame. Okay, so the first positive was started to get the market, the RSI that was going sideways, gets it oversold. Second part that was good was to see the pin bar candle. The fact that we started over here, went to a 20% dump, 20-30% dump, and now getting bought back showed that there was actually people that bought. Now, when every flipping person was getting liquidated, someone was buying, right? And it's quite annoying that all of those that got smashed, someone was on the other side just buying all of the damn fear, okay? And you basically had this exchange of hands, right? That's exactly what you had. You had those that lost, that gave up, that quit, or possibly capitulated in the time over there. And you had those that said, thank you so much. I'll take this, okay? And again, now you're sitting back at the same level over here, and no damage is actually done since yesterday, okay, from when the market opened. Now, again, a couple of weeks back, we are still sitting lower on alts, right? We are still sitting, if we look here, we are still sitting in the areas of around 27% down from the major highs. But when it came from the market open yesterday, there is no more damage that actually happened in that very short period of time. People got flushed out and we got exchange of hands. Same amount of tokens, same amount of money, same amount of everything. And it just shows you again that when times are the hardest within crypto, okay, is the best time to obviously have liquidity. And again, you had time to feel sorry for yourself yesterday. You have time today to sit and say, I'll never be in this position again where I don't have money to buy this damn dip. Because if we all sold the top and we had money to buy this dip yesterday, we would be sitting there dancing on tables, right? We'll be sitting and say, thank you. I got Doge in the 20 cents. I got Solana back below $200. I got ETH at $2,100, right? It becomes a celebration. And that's the very important thing that we need next time, is to make it a celebration. So again, today's the better you. Today's the you where you put the damn things on your board and you say, hey, I'm always going to have 20% cash until I see a 30% liquidation wick. When I see a 30% liquidation wick, I'm all in, right? And that becomes a new rule system, because again, from here, if we have a pin bar candle and we have an RSI that's sitting at the bottom over here, okay, and you have a green candle, for example, within this week and next week that does this, it is gone. It is finished. It is forgotten. People come flying back in. The dump will never be remembered. The liquidations will never be remembered. And it will continue until later on, you get the massive pushes up. You start to see this massive parabolic altcoin move. Okay, it starts to happen like this. And then guess what happens? It starts to go sideways in this period here. And then what happens again? Liquidation wick, right? And then we go and we start to do it all again. Okay, so that's the important thing to understand now, that these events here actually bring in buying power, and it kind of makes sense, right? Let's paint the picture here for a second. Drop the screen. If you have the biggest institutions in the world, okay, and you have Bitcoin that's going to be a reserve, do you think they're going to buy it at $120,000, $130,000? Do you think that the biggest companies in the world are going to buy everything at high prices? Not really, right? So when all these events happen and the market starts to drop low, it was very clear yesterday that retail didn't buy that dump, right? They didn't buy that dump. Big money bought that dump, right? Big money bought those sort of things. So if you want to become big money, you need to start thinking like big money. Okay, and you got to understand that the depression and the anger phase is where these whales and these big money buy. Okay, and not only on the weekly. What we saw yesterday is we saw a weekly correction. We saw a bigger time frame correction. And again, they get bigger. This was probably my fourth biggest one. I've seen bigger in the past, right? I've seen 60%, 50, 60% liquidations in one day, percent drops, right? I've seen massive crashes before. But nonetheless, you saw a weekly. Now, as a day trader, as an investor, as a swing trader, right, you are looking for the same thing. So if you're a day trader and you want to make some money today, you're waiting for the market to go to short-term depression, where it has that quick 2-3 candles down, goes sideways, and starts to go its way up again. It teaches you a very valuable lesson as a trader, as an investor, doesn't matter. You're looking for the same thing. You're looking for the drop, the sideways, the fat candle that makes a pin bar, and then you're in, right? And that's the same concept every time. So it's just important, again, to better and understand that as a investor trade, doesn't matter. The same sort of styles is what you pay attention to. Let's go down the list over here. ETH dropped to the crazy levels of $2,100, right? We are looking at a pin bar candle. I am quite intrigued. Obviously, we still have 5 days left, but it's very likely that if this candle turns green this week, you are going to see a lot of volume because there is still 5 days less that is in this weekly candle. And the fact that the volume is creeping up to last week's volume already, okay, shows you that there was a lot of volume that was deployed. There was a lot of buying. There was obviously a lot of panic and a lot of liquidation, a lot of sales, okay, but there was a lot of buy up. There was a ton. There was billions into hundreds of billions that were bought up yesterday. Okay, hundreds of billions of dollars. Okay, and not a billion or two. A lot was bought up over here. And I'm expecting that we're going to see a very high volume spike candle. Okay, and anywhere in these areas here. And again, you take this candle and you move it over there. You saw what this marked for ETH the last time, right? We saw ETH the low 2000s. We then saw it at 4,000 after that. Takes a little bit of time to recover. This all depends, though. If Bitcoin wants to go parabolic, the market will start recovering pretty quickly. Okay, but nonetheless, it is very clear that yesterday has also created a lot of fear. People probably don't trust and don't want to buy altcoins right now. Okay, so there's only one group that is buying altcoins right now. When will people want to trust altcoins again? Is when it's back in all-time highs, right? Back in all-time highs, everyone trusts it again, and it's the same damn trap that plays out throughout. So again, pay attention to ETH at these levels. Pay attention to Solana, that has actually got a green candle, okay, which is really good. Look at Chainlink, really good pin bar candle on Chainlink. Look at Cardano, look at Doge, okay, and just go down your list. Look at XRP. Someone bought a ton of XRP yesterday. XRP dropped a lot, which is, wow, it's probably about 30% lower than where we are now. XRP dropped 31%. Okay, someone bought a ton of XRP yesterday. Okay, now another chart that's also very interesting. Okay, and it's one that we've got to kind of really just pay attention to. And I want to look, where is it over here? This one. It is crazy after yesterday, the biggest liquidation wick that we have seen, right? The biggest sort of thing, that we did not break back into this trend. It's absolutely insane. Look at this. So this is the USDT dominance, and we've had this chart on here multiple times, showing that this was obviously the fun time that we had a couple of weeks back when the markets really started rocketing to the upside, right? Then we had this little depression phase that happened now in December and January, where basically, again, when this chart is going down, people are flying out of dollars and they're getting into the markets. And when this is going up, people are getting out of tokens into the dollar, right, into the USDT. And look how we had this big push up and we lost this trend. Now, again, this was a trend that comes all the way from 2017, right? This is a long trend. You're looking at a 7-year trend that we have been staying in, and we lost that trend, right? Now, that was not for nothing. Now, the important thing yesterday was, were we going to break back into this trend? Was it all a lie? Was it all fake? Was this Bitcoin at 100,000 actually a trap? And we weren't actually in a full bull. That's how close we were yesterday. Now look at this candle that is being formed at the moment. It is a massive push to the upside, and look at that sell-off. Look how much dollars got deployed into the market yesterday. Okay, and how much buying actually happened at those areas. And I know about you, but that looks like a very strong reversal candle, right? Very similar to what we saw this wick over here. You see this candle here? Okay, they had a small fill up, and look what happened and resulted in. Look at the time before that. The big wicks, right? These wick candles here, look at what they resulted in after that, a big drop off. So again, if we stay below this over here, this was one of the biggest traps that we have had in a long time, and it was a fake dump. It was not real. Okay, and the fact that we had this over here and we staying here, if we start here trickling down between this week and next week, we know that there is a mega pump on the load. Once we lose this low here, we are going back down to the areas of 2021, which means the altcoins will finally join the damn party. But that is where we're looking at. So that was a big sign. And this is a chart for you to stay bullish today, okay, and to make sure that you stay positive today, and to understand that you're still in the right place and we're still here at the right time. And what's amazing about this too is we're still kind of early, right? The reason why we're early, because we're still in Bitcoin phase. We're not even in ETH phase. We haven't seen an all-time high ETH break, and we haven't seen a true major alt rally just yet. Okay, so let's jump straight into it. Again, we have David Sachs talking later on today. It's about 8 hours from now. This is definitely going to bring some volatility, right? If things get said, well, if there's a mention and a right mention, the fact that if Bitcoin has not pre-dumped enough, okay, towards this, okay, and things go good, it's very likely that Bitcoin could actually absorb everything. And Bitcoin could be back at that $105,000, $106,000 very quickly. So this could be a very important catalyst that we're seeing here. Let's go through a couple of tweets. So this is obviously Trump's crypto man. Well, he's a digital man. Senator Loomis says the U.S. Serbian Wealth Fund is a big deal. Okay, amazing. What does that mean, Kyle? Tell me, sir. I'm a chartist, bro. Okay. Long story short, is it bullish for crypto? Very bullish for crypto. Okay, cool. Oh, the B. Oh, the Bitcoin B. That's what we're looking at. Sorry, I'm a dummy. I'm a dummy when it comes to fundamentals. This is why I like charts, right? So, again, I failed in school. I wasn't smart. And if I could become a million, like you guys can dominate it out there, right? Let's go through it. In my opinion, it's a great time to add ETH. I agree. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's jump back to the charts. Let's get going for today's action. So let's jump into today and get the major plan. So the first thing I want to show you guys over here as well on the daily chart, which is very important to understand here. Yesterday bought in buying power. There was a lot of buying that happened yesterday, and that candle is actually very bullish on Bitcoin, right? Very good candle on Bitcoin. And as you see here as well, it's actually quite interesting that they can't break $90,000. We've had bearish news, we've had downside, we've had pushes to the down, and they just can't break $91,000. So the accumulation that is happening at $91,000 is insane at the moment. And what's also crazy about it is you could see that we've hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. They have tried to break 91,000, and we are bouncing every damn time. But the next thing that's also important to see here is to see the accumulation that is currently happening, to see the buying volume that is happening at these areas. The first big drop that happened over here, you could see our volume started to spike up in these areas. Not a crazy wick though, right? But we started to see an increase in volume. The second time, massive wick down. Look at the big volume spike. Third time, drop, volume spike. Okay, so it is very clear that these drops are getting bought up, and they're getting bought up a lot. Okay, a lot of volume is coming. So what you're seeing here is these drops are flushing out retail at a fast pace and being bought up by big hands at a quick pace. And then it's getting bought up by high volume spikes as well. Okay, and the next thing now is to understand that if we start preparing what Bitcoin is coiling up for, we got to get through this little pullback phase. And I'll go through the scenarios now of what I'm seeing the next 24 hours, right? But what we got to see now is the moment that Bitcoin can finally get through these crazy levels. Bitcoin is coiling up for a move to the $120,000 to $130,000 zone. Okay, I drew some fibs this morning. I had some levels pulled up over here. This over here is called accumulation, right? And it's very similar. And I want to show you guys the power of understanding accumulation. If you look at this over here, why has Bitcoin gone sideways for the last couple of weeks? Because there's accumulation that's needed. The exchange of hands is needed. Why? Because you can't create no more Bitcoin. It's not like, oh, more people are coming to crypto, let's make more Bitcoin. It doesn't happen, right? You got a certain amount of Bitcoin, and that's it. So basically what you need is you need to fear out a bunch of people at the market to exchange. Okay, and that's what this big period over here was for Bitcoin, was this phase of the 6 months going sideways. A lot of exchanging. And again, all of your high volume came at the bottom. There, volume spike. There, volume spike. Bottom, volume spike. Same style, same pattern, same thing that we are seeing again. But what was crazy about it as well is this accumulation creates strength. Okay, so as long as we accumulated over here is as long as we pumped. Right? Not even, I would say that there's still so much more to go, okay? But nonetheless, as long as we accumulated over here is what created the sustainability to get Bitcoin to $100,000. If you take exactly the length over here and exactly the length over here, it works out, right? So the next thing is to understand that Bitcoin is going to go through accumulation phases and exchange of hand phases. But sideways is not a bad thing. It's just it's the kryptonite of it's your nemesis, right? For retail. Retail just cannot stand that they're not rich in 2 weeks. Like they cannot understand that they said that their crypto bro was going to buy they were going to get a Lambo in 2 weeks, and it didn't happen, right? So they're not happy about that. So they quit and they go back to the normal day job life. Okay, and they go to the normal support the dollar, right? And how well is that done for humanity for a long period of time? Not very good, right? But look at this now. Now you go look at accumulation. This is enough power to get us to the $120,000 range. After that, again, what happens is hype, news events all over the world, and things start hyping up. So this accumulation is actually good, and it's the exchange of hands. But where the real thing starts is obviously breaking up the 109,000. That's where we start moving. So what I can show you on this chart over here is, firstly, the buys are happening at the bottom if you like it or not. You believe a bull market or not, it is happening, right? The accumulation is happening. The next thing to understand now is when is this bounce real? And I can see a short squeeze that is now coiling up. And this is what we need to happen today. Today, tomorrow, the next 3 days, this is what we need. We need good news. We need calm down news, okay? And we need to break $103,000. Why? Because the concern that we are currently facing right now is we are sitting at a very important rejection level. And that rejection level is the 618. And again, it's very similar to where we were over here. Okay, this level over here is we had a bounce, but it was not a real bounce. Okay, it was actually a fake bounce. And the way to determine that is it gets past this level called 618. And what that is it means that it's 60% of the previous move that happened, right? So if Bitcoin in this areas over here came down, if we don't get through 60% of it, okay, it is still telling us that there is downside. This could still be fake, and there could still be another push to the down. So where we pumped yesterday was exactly to that 60%. Bitcoin recovered 60% of this whole dump in one damn daily candle. Okay, and that is that big $103,000 zone. Now we are hovering over there and we are going sideways. Any good news event or anything to get us through here, there's a short squeeze sitting from 103 back to all-time highs. Again, once we get through all-time highs, things will start accelerating. So that's the important thing to, hey, be bullish, but know that the real pump only starts once we get through this major level. Until then, make sure you're a little bit conservative and make sure that you're paying attention to any more short-term downside. Now, let's go through the next style and what I think is going to happen and my plan. This is my plan over here. There's two areas to this pullback. The first pullback has actually, or the first scenario is actually we've hit the bounce zone. And what that basically says is this bounce is real and it's showing a lot of strength on this bounce. Reason being is because we have these different major fib levels. And I just want to show you this for a second. There's two big ones. And the one determines that we are very bullish. The one basically tells us that if we hold this level, we could be back at $105,000 in 2 days. Okay, that's what it's telling you. If we decide to go to the next level, it's telling you that, hey, this could take up to 7 to 10 days. This can take a little bit longer to recover. And as long as we hold support, we're going to recover. But it's just giving you a proper understanding of how long it's going to possibly take. So you know the urgency. Should I deploy everything in now? What should I do? Should I open up trades? You know, these sort of things. So the first level is a 382. And we have now hit that. That is that $98,000 zone. And what's going to determine is if we start pumping through and break the highs, the low is in. And from here, we're going to make our way back to this $105,000, $106,000 zone. If we start, market opens early and it starts pre-dumping, then we're looking at another, yes, 12 hours or 8 hours of downside, but the bounce zone is at $96,000, both resulting in a bounce and both resulting in a push up to the upside over here. So what that looks like again on your alts and the markets over here, here's your total 3, there's your 2 bounce zones. So for me personally, I bought a bunch of spot positions now at these levels, and I have a little bit more cash, not much more cash, okay? A little bit more cash sitting over here, okay? Again, where altcoins bounced was incredible, okay? The fact that it even got there, but it bounced in the big zone, and it's very likely that we might not actually go back to those major lows again, okay? But here is the 2 zones. So it's here or it is over here, both resulting in upside. So it means whatever you wanted to deploy, personally, what I'm doing, 50% is in now. The other 50 is waiting for a trend break. If we start breaking the trends, you'll see a very bullish tile for me tomorrow. You join me tomorrow, and I'll get you the next buys for the next entries for the market, right? So what that looks like over here, there's ETH. ETH, strong buys at the 2.6, and then we got 2.4, just in case. Have some money in case that happens. Look at Solana. Sol's got a trend. It's actually not far from a breakout, to be honest. It is actually sitting around 7%. Okay, so there's 2 bounce zones on Sol. It's around this 200 to 205. We do have the 195. Okay, but do not miss this breakout. We start breaking this trend. Solana's on its way back to the $300 mark, right? And all of this will be forgotten. There's Chainlink, hit the zone, starting to wake up. So again, I'm not going fully on leverage yet. Okay, any leverage, I'm still sore. Okay, I'm still I still have a hangover. Right? It hurt me. So I'm not going in yet. I'm waiting for a big trend break to start leverage trading. However, spot trades, okay, and entry positions, great areas now to go 50% now and 50% a little bit lower. But this is the major plays. I'm seeing a W pattern. I'm seeing a drop, and I'm seeing this being a real damn bounce. Okay. And again, I know it was hard, but soon this will be forgotten and we're back on our way again. So we are now, you could see that just these little bounces from these areas here are these good 10, 15% bounces. But if we start breaking trends, we've caught the damn bottom and things are going to look damn amazing. A couple of altcoins again to pay attention to is Ondo, Ondos are good levels. Algos are good levels. I even think XRP is okay at these levels, not too bad. It's still a little bit expensive in my eyes. Sonic, great levels. Say, incredible levels. Your Gala, your gaming is so damn cheap right now. Crazy. Your 𝗪𝗡𝗡𝗅, these are all looking at really good levels. Even, and I know I'll probably get a little bit of slack for it, I bought a little bit more Rune. Because the validators came out, they've come to an agreement, and I'm telling you, Rune will recover. Okay, that's my honest opinion. Again, it's higher risk, but I think Rune is a buy of the damn bull market. I really do. The buying between this $1.2 and $1.5 on Rune, for me personally, remember my original buys were at $4, so I'm down quite a lot. Okay, but I got to think of it like this. If I put in, because I put in around $200,000 in Rune, right, at those levels of $4. Now it is sitting at $1.2. All I got to do is put it around $40,000 now, and I'll buy the same amount of tokens. Okay, so I'm trying to see what I can trade and how I can build a couple of my trades up. And if I can buy $40,000 of THORChain at this level, okay, I get the same amount of tokens of what I bought then. And if THORChain goes back to $4, that 40K of mine is worth $200,000, and I got my other $200,000 back. I'm always looking at the positive, and I'm always looking at ways to make money back, right? That's the important thing. Maddie, let's give away some of the Bitfunded, sir. Here's Bitfunded. I'm going to give away a couple of these packages. Remember, guys, if you want Bitfunded, okay, you pay $79, you pass 2 levels, and you get to trade with $5,000, and you keep 90% of the profits over there as well. The downside is you cannot, so you got to get 8% to win, but you cannot lose more than 10% in a day. If you do that, they do close the position. So you start off a dummy account, you get to those 2 levels, you trade with real cash. So let's give away some of these over here. What's my likes at? 1, 2. Okay, so I'll give away 2. If you get to 1, 5 quickly, I'll give away more. Okay, let's give away. Who are we doing? Dylan Cron. Yes, sir. I've actually met Dylan. Dylan, nice to see you. I've met you before. Oh, before we continue. Guys, you have a community here, and you have a choice. You have a paid community, which is Sniper Club. Okay. You have a free community, which is school. Okay. You have a free Discord in Banter. You have communities. Please join a community. Okay. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I have 30,000 people that's never left me. And I want to give shout out to you guys. I love you guys. Thank you. You're the reason that I stayed in crypto, to be honest. I want to say thank you to those 30,000 that stayed with me on the journey. But for 30,000 people, yesterday's dump, they were like, oh, it's just a Tuesday, right? They became resilient. They sat here with 3 to 4 years with me on this journey, and they became resilient. They became strong emotionally. And yesterday's dump was, again, the 4th biggest one. It's not the biggest one we've seen. Okay. They know what it's like to get through. And if 30,000 people can get through these journeys with me, be part of the community and stay strong. Why? Because if you're part of the community, they know how to get through these things. They know how to go through the hard times, and they don't quit. So very important. Okay, next one. Laura Mitchell, Bitfunded, please. You need to recover from Rune. Go for it. Go for it. You get one over there. There's an email below, link in the description, and we go. Okay, guys, lots of love. I'll see you tomorrow. Let's see where the market's at, and let's get our damn money back. Love you lots. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.